Data analytics or data science has become one of the most critical skills in today's data-driven world. If you looked around, everything is collecting data. I think this is the perfect time to get into data analytics. So mastering the skill, you become an asset to a lot of companies. And that is a very valuable advantage in the job market when you know how to work with data. So for this tutorial, we're going to use Tableau for data visualization. And if you haven't heard about Tableau before, Tableau is a tool for reporting and visualizing vast volume of data. There are two types of versions for Tableau. You have the paid version, which is the desktop version, and you also have the free version, which is Tableau Public. Now, there are some limitations to the free version. When you download Tableau Public, you are limited to the amount of data sets you can connect to. And also, you don't get the option to save your data or save your work on the computer. You would have to save your work on Tableau Cloud. So those are the two limitations from using Tableau Desktop versus Tableau Public. Now, they both are great options, but I prefer, or for this tutorial, I'm going to use Tableau Public. For Tableau Public, you can either download Tableau on your desktop or you can use it directly on the website. So what you want to do is head over to Google and you're going to look for Tableau Public, and then you're going to click on the first link. And when you get to this page, you go under Create, and under Create, click on Download Tableau Desktop Edition, and then you're going to download Tableau Public. Once you start the download, you are going to be advised to sign up or sign in if you have a Tableau account. And the reason for the account is to save your data when you are working with Tableau Public on your desktop. So as I said to you before, you do not have the option of saving the work on the computer. You have to save it on Tableau Cloud. That's one of the limitations with the free version. So once you have opened up Tableau Public, you will get to this interface. Under the connection pane, you have a list of files you can connect to. You can connect to an Excel file, you can connect to a text file, a JSON file, PDF, and so on. If you click on the more options, the more option will give you other options to connect to. For example, if you have a database, you can connect to the database. If you have Google Cloud Drive, you can also connect to those type of cloud connection. When you open up Tableau for the first time, you will not get this interface. I did some work in Tableau previously, so that's the interface I would get, but you will get a different interface from mine. Now, in order to use Tableau, you have to get a data set. A data set is a table with rows and columns, and the information in the data set, you can use it to visualize data in Tableau. One place that I really like using when it comes to data set is Kaggle. And you want to have a data set that is clean. You don't really want to do any data cleaning or data wrangling from getting data sets online. So I highly recommend that you choose a data set that is clean, a data set that have good values in every row, a data set that you understand what each value represents. So click on data sets and it will take you to a page that have numerous amount of data set. Now, two of my favorite data sets I like working on for exploring data analytics is car sales advertisement and data science salary 2023. So you can download either one of those data set to the computer. So you just click on it and it's going to download. And once you finish downloading the file, then you're going to go on the connection and you're going to click on text file. You have to choose the file that you have just downloaded. Going to look for dssalary.csv and I'm going to press open. So the file is going to now be loaded inside of Tableau. So I'm going to explain briefly about the interface. On the connections, The DS salary is the name of your connection. It's typically the name of your CSV file. On the files shows which files you are currently connected to in Tableau. At the bottom, you have the new union section. So this section is typically when you want to bring in analytic applications from Python or any other program or software to join them with Tableau. So this is the left side explained. Now, if we look at the bottom, you have more information. At the bottom shows the name of your file, and you also have your columns that are inside of the file. So we have work here, experience level, employment, type, job title, etc. So those are your columns. Field are the data types for each column. And when I get to the next part, I will explain it to you. So you have your data type, you have the field name, which is the column, and the table it's coming from. If we go to the bottom of the page, this is how you would start off using Tableau. This little icon here is saying go to worksheet, and worksheet is where you will do all of your visualizations. So you have a data source, and data source allows you to bring in a new data file or a new data set inside of Tableau. Then you have this icon. So you will click on this icon for new worksheet. So if you want to create a next worksheet, if you want to start a new template, you click on this icon. This here is the dashboard. Dashboard gives you a visualization of all the worksheets or all the diagrams that you have created in your current workflow. And you also have the story. So you can click on this if you want to create a new story. So let's go ahead and click on sheet 1. And when you clicked on sheet 1, you will get to this interface. Let's take a look at the first section. We're going to look at some of the icons inside of Tableau. So we have your back button, your forward button, you have your saved, you also have the little cylinder here that represents new data sets. So if you want to bring in a new file, you can use the cylinder here. You also can create a new worksheet with this icon. Most of those icons, you're not going to really use them. So I'm just going over the ones that we will use currently for this tutorial. And then you have your arrangement icon or your arrangement tabs. So these icons let you arrange from descending to ascending order, from ascending to descending order. We have this little icon here that allows you to switch between rows and columns. Now, once I start working, you would see how those little functions work. Then we have this pane. We're going to first look under the data section. And once you're under the data section, we have the name of the connection and we have tables. And under the table, you have the dimension and you have the measures. Now, the dimension, which is this part right here. So dimensions are data about data. Dimensions are considered qualitative value. So qualitative values mean name, date of birth, area, location, or the address, the color of your hair. So dimensions are descriptive. Then you have your measures, which are here, and measures are typically numeric values. So measures are considered quantitative values you can measure or you can sum. You can aggregate on measures. For example, measures can be price, amount, salary, total. Those are measures in a table. Now, if you take a look at the side of the dimensions and the measures, so let me put this one in a different color. So if you take a look on the side of the dimensions and the side of the measures, you would see that they have symbols. So usually dimensions are strings. So wherever you see A, B, C, those are strings. And measures are usually denoted with the pound value. So those are numeric values. So usually dimensions are saved either floats, decimals, numbers. Under the analytic pane, you have your summary, model, and customs. Under this section, gives you the option to create a tighter visualization. So you have your reference line, your reference bond under the custom section, and you have the model, which are the focus trending lines. So under this section, you have your pages, filters, and marks. And this pane here is very useful. You will use it a lot if you are using Tableau. We also have the rows and the column section. So this is where you're going to drag your rows and drag your columns into. And for this part, you have your main section where you're going to see all of your visualization. And then we have the show me section where you can create different visualizations. You can create maps, you can create pies. So you have several options based on the column you chose. So let's go ahead and get some work done. We're going to click on the data section. And let's drag and drop some rows and columns into the rows and column section. So let's go for job title. I'm going to drop it in column. And once you dropped it in column, you can see some metrics, so you can see the screen has changed. So some stuff had been placed inside of the visualization. Now this is not a proper visualization, so let's make it a little bit better. So we're going to take the salary in US dollars and we're going to drop it on the row. And now you see things change a little bit. So let's get rid of the show me tab and let's open this up a little bit more. On the y-axis, we have the salary in US dollars, and on the x-axis, we have the names or the job title. So remember those little icons? Those icons, we can use it to go back and forth with our visualization. So if we want to switch the columns, so we want job title in row and we want some salary in columns, we can click on this button and you can see it switched between columns and rows. If you want to sort from ascending to descending order, then you click on this button, and vice versa. If you want to sort from descending to ascending order, you would click on this button right here. So let's go back and put salary on the y-axis and job title on the x-axis. So right now we have a visualization going, but we can do lots more with the visualization. So what happened here is when we dragged it over, it aggregated the salary in US dollars. It summed the salary in US dollars. So we can change it to different aggregations. So we can change it to either average, median, count, max, mean, percentile. So you can change the aggregation. So let's change it to average. And you can see we get a different information or a different graph when we change it to average. So if you hover over each of those little bars, you would see the average salary for each job title. You can display that same information on the graph itself. So to do that, you can take salary in US dollars and you can drag it on the labor part. And you can see now it displayed the value or the amount on the chart. What you can also do, you can color the chart. So if we drop it here, you can see the chart change color. You can also take the job title and drop it, and you can see that the job title as well change colors. If you are in different countries, let's say you're in India, you're in the UK, you're in Germany, you can change the amount or you can change the currency to your currency or the currency that is suitable for your project. So what you can do, you can left click on the average or left click on the amount, which is your measures, and you click on format. Under the scale section, we have a number section you can use. If you click on numbers, this screen will come up, and then you can see that you have options to change the currency. If you want to change your currency to English pounds, German, yen, you can do this using the prefix. Now, another way you can do it is you can click on standard, and when you click on the English, you get a list of countries you can change the value to. Let's change it to Japanese. And you can see that once we changed it, the value or the sign has changed. Let's look at Ukraine, and you can see the sign has changed. If you go under custom, you could also see the sign has changed as well in the prefix section. So that's how you can change. So I'm going to put it back into US dollars, and I'm going to delete this section. So under the show me section, you have different charts you can use. So right now you have the horizontal bar chart, you have the tree maps, you also have pie charts. So if you look pie chart, you can see the pie chart is not the best because there's too many rows in the table. So the pie chart wouldn't really look the best. You also have side-by-side bar you can use. We also have circle view. So if we take, let's exit from here and let's put the job title back into columns. So you can see the scatter plot for the different job title. You can change it based on the data or the columns you have provided. Now, for this section, if we look at company location, locations are the location for each company. If you look on the side, the location is in a string, which is ABC, but you actually want this to be geographic. So I'm going to start a new worksheet. If you take a look on the left at company location, on the left of company location, it's ABC. And ABC beside a column, that means that it is stored, or the column is stored in the table as a string. Now we want to make company location geographic or a geolocation. So we want to change how it's displayed in Tableau. We want the value in the column to be of countries because we want to use the map. So we want to change this to a location or country. So what you can do, you can left click on the column, which is country location, and go down to geographic role. And on the geographic role, you want to select country and region. And when you select country and region, it will give us a latitude and a longitude to work with. So when I click on country and region, we got two different values or attribute to work with in Tableau. So we got a latitude and a longitude. So what we want to do, you want to take latitude and drop it on the row, and then you want to take longitude and drop it on columns. And when you do that, then the map will display. So if I click on the show me tab, you would see that we have the options now to use a map, because now we are working with latitude and longitude. And if you take a look at the left side of company location, now it has changed from ABC to a symbol that looks like a globe. So now that we have the longitude and latitude in columns and rows, we're going to take company location and we're going to drop it on label. And when we drop it on label, it display the label that is saved in the table. And if you pay close attention, it matches exactly with the map location. So by default, the map is saved as United States, Canada, Mexico, but in the table, it is saved as abbreviation or code. So it's saved as US. For Canada, it's saved as CA. For Mexico, it's saved as MX. And if you look closely, it matches up perfectly with the map value in Tableau. From there, we're going to take the salary in US dollars, and we're also going to drop it on label as well. And the salary now has been displayed. So that's how you use the map in Tableau. If you want, you can also change salary from sum, and we can put it as average. We can get a different value, a more realistic value. So you can go ahead and play around with maps. There's lots more you can do. For example, if we drop company location to colors, you would see it changes around. So there's lots of stuff you can do with map if you just play around with it. Now, if we go back to the bottom of the screen, you can see that we have sheet 1, which it was our chart, and we also had sheet 2, which is our map. Now, once you're done with different sheet, you can rename your sheet at the bottom. So you can left click. For example, we're on sheet 2, you can left click and rename your sheet. So we're going to rename the sheet to map, and you can also rename sheet 1 to chart, and you would get a better understanding of which sheet have which chart or map. If you want to display your work, so for example, if you have a presentation and you want to display all of your visualization, all of your graphs on one dashboard or one sheet, you can use the dashboard to do that. So once we're on the dashboard section, you can see dashboard has displayed at the bottom. You can take your sheets, which is our chart, and drop it over here. And you can also take maps and drop it over here. And you see how it displayed nicely, stacking each of the sheets on top of each other. You can play around with it. So if you want to have them in horizontal order or in vertical order, you can do that. So you can change it and do something like this if you want to. You can also change this and drag it, put it back in the bottom here. So you can go ahead and play around with the maps and your sheets in dashboard. And that section is a very powerful section because it gives you the opportunity to show all of your work on one sheet. That's all for this tutorial. This tutorial is a 3-part tutorial. So this is just a visualization with Tableau. For the second part, I'm going to run some queries in pgadmin 4, and I'm going to take the results of the query and transfer it over into Python to create a similar visualization as we did here in Tableau. So thanks for watching.